Hello everyone, it's Sam again. Welcome back to my channel. I have for you, oh, hang on, let me just adjust this a little better. Okay, sorry. This is my Sojourner, hooray, woo! This is an A5 Traveller in the Tola leather, made by the Sojourner company. They're an American company. It is full leather and it's sort of hard to show you in the light, but it's a really beautiful deep red. And I've got the red elastics, and it has a pocket on the front, which I was particularly drawn to this design because I liked the idea of being able to stick my phone in here and maybe in time to come a wallet insert inside, and then this becomes like my life basically. Anyway, so this is pretty new. I've only gotten it in the last month or so and I haven't really started using it yet. But what I wanted to talk about today is how I plan to move into next year, what I've been calling my planner project or journaling project, or it's a bit of everything. Anyway, so I decided the best way to move forward for me was to make my own planner journal combination. I suppose the closest thing to resemble it would be a bullet journal. There's nothing out and about that I've seen that is perfect for me. I don't really know exactly what I want in a planner. It seems to change all the time. I buy one thing, I use it for a couple of months or a couple of weeks, the shine wears off. The longest I've ever used something consecutively is the Hobonichi that I've had this year, which I had to promise myself that I would do because it was so expensive. There are things about it that I really, really love, but I still didn't feel like it was the perfect planner for me. So what I've decided to do is I bought this beautiful A5 cover. As you can see, there's no pockets on the inside, and I'm actually wondering whether I might try and, you know, add some sort of insert or pocket folder or something in there to help with that, because I am used to having pockets on the inside, so it does seem strange to me. But I want to go through my shelf, and I have an extreme amount of empty notebooks in a variety of shapes and sizes, and I'm just going to use them all. I'm just going to use every single one. And one thing I do know is that even though I've shaved a lot of the excess out of my life, I am still in a position where I don't have a lot of time to be as creative as I want to. Certainly not on a daily, well, yes, on a daily basis. I'm an author, so I'm writing on a daily basis, but in terms of actual crafting, journaling, that sort of stuff, I don't have time to do all that on a daily basis. I do it maybe once a week when my mum comes over, we sit down together and we spend a day doing art and craft. So what I decided to do was actually create my own planner / journal combination ahead of time, prep all the pages, and then fill them out and finish them when the time comes. So I'm going to show you today. The first one I decided to use was my Leuchtturm 1917. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. Leuchtturm. I'm not sure. I'm not great with it. Because I had already started using it. You may or may not remember. I might put these elastics on this side of that page because that's stressing me out a little bit. I've currently got it on 2 elastics at the front and 2 at the back. You can't really see there, just because the Traveler's Notebook comes with 4 elastics and I haven't decided yet what I wanted to use the others for. But stringing it on 2 alone, because it's quite hefty, you can see it's quite chunky, it was a lot of weight, so I've just done that way. So this used to be my bullet journal. I think I've done a couple of flips through on the channel. I used this as my planner for a while, and I drew up the daily layouts as I went before I got my Hobonichi. And I did December daily last year, so this only goes to the end of November. I tried using it as a straight journal for a while. You can see here the 21st of February 2017 this is. So I was sticking things in and just using this as a journal. But it didn't really click home for me. And I sort of stopped, but you can see here I was practicing. It's the invitation to my brother's wedding. I've got a restaurant I went to. Some drawings, some art, some ideas, photos. I suffer terrible hay fever. So that's what was in here. which I did for a little while. Here's some just sketches. But I had only used this little part, which I think is about 50 pages. Yeah, 51 pages. So I decided to use the rest. I think a Leuchtturm is 250 altogether. Yep, 249, 250 pages altogether. So I decided to use the other 200 pages to start my planner. So this is my cover page for 2018. And you can see up the top, I've got some tabs with the months. So this goes up to about the middle of May. So what I'm going to do today is I'm just going to flip you through what I've done, show you what I've set up, and then eventually when I finish this book midway through May next year, I'll do another flip showing you the difference between empty and full. So that's my plan. So like I said, this is my cover page. Here, a mix of photos and sort of tags and ephemera and stuff. This is my monthly layout. These were in the Flow magazine last year and they're undated. So I stuck that in for my monthly, and I've got birthdays in there. And then obviously this is a goal page. And I've just got the elastic closure for the Leuchtturm on the starting day, because that's just going to makes my life a little easier. So I'll be able to fill that in with the goals that I have achieved from December and the ones that I want to achieve. And then obviously weekly layout. I decided to sort of stamp this one. And then here's the dailies. So I've just got journal cards, ephemera. I've ruled up a timeline here. My original layouts that I put in here were quite similar to what's in the Hobonichi. And I did that on purpose so that I would give myself time to get used to the transition. Sorry, Piper bumped the table. She's walking by. So yeah, but I've got very clearly set out spaces for my scheduled time-sensitive tasks, spots for my to-do lists, and then sort of journal cards for extra bits and pieces. So yeah, I've got a variety of ephemera, and I'm really just utilizing the blank pages sort of as they are, because it's a dot grid, so it's a really versatile. And then my theory is to put, 7 days worth of daily layouts, and then 1 day at the end of each week for like a capture page, so that I can put any extra journaling or photos or anything that I wanted to add, just as a sort of, capture page, I suppose. And then there's the next weekly layout. Once again, the same weekly layout through the month is what I decided to do, but obviously there's slightly different colors. And then this week, the weekly layout is different. So once again, this is quite a structured one. I found most of these weekly layouts, this one particularly, I know I have found them either on Pinterest or on the Bullet Journal Junkies Facebook group. So if you see a layout in here that is familiar or that is yours, I apologize if I'm not giving credit, but at the time of drawing these up, I didn't think about recording a YouTube video for it, so I haven't written down who this came from. But this wasn't my original design. It's got the schedule, then a section for the to-do list, things I might have around home, and the food menu. So this one doesn't as yet have a space included specifically for journaling, but I can tip those in, or I can add them to the weekly capture at the end. And I've just decorated these with stamps and with my Staedtler Tri-Plus fine liners. And then yeah, I can either tip in extra stuff, or like I said, I can write it in the capture page at the end. So then here's the next week, once again, same layout. And then I've got this layout here, which once again I found on Pinterest, and I adulterated it, altered it to suit myself a little better. So I've got the times down here, so that's sort of morning and afternoon kind of, and then any to-dos, and then food planning, and that's once again a couple of stickers, little bit of decoration throughout, just to change color, and once again anything extra I want to add, I'll either tip in or add it here. This I went back and realized I'd somehow randomly forgot to stamp this, so I actually only did this like last week, and I just used my Tombos to add in where I had been stamping. So this one's not really decorated, so when I come to actually filling this in, I will probably zhuzh it up a little bit. Then this weekly layout I also altered slightly from one I had seen and was inspired by it online. This doesn't have structured times. It just has a place for me to write, you know, my time sensitive tasks. Once again, home, to-dos, menu, and a couple of little quotes on each page. And obviously I've used some sort of alphabet stickers. These are quite glittery. These are Aldi ones, I think, from memory. And then once again, I'll be either tipping in or adding to the capture page any other journaling or other stuff that I want to do. And now we're into February. So once again, here's my flip out from Flow with the monthly layout where I'll put the birthdays. This is my February monthly goals achieved, this month's goals and monthly motto. And then for some reason I put that up there, probably because I put that to one side, but yep. So this is the weekly layout I chose for February. So I've got here the food planning, like a menu down the side, weekly, sort of overall weekly to-dos, and then this will be where I'll write my time-sensitive tasks, and then obviously a bit of a doodle. And that was done with just a Sakura Micron. That's my Tombow Fudenasuke soft brush pen. It's starting to run out of ink now. It's looking a little sad. And then that's just the Zebra mild liner highlighters there. So this is the weekly layout I chose for this week. I've gone back to a timed layout down one side, and then I've got, you know, a variety of different headings each day depending on the stickers that I was trying to use up. I was trying to get a bit creative and just sort of feeling, you know, the different color schemes and things like that. But the idea is the same. You know, I schedule here, but then I wrote a sticker there, and it's all just really just exploring my creativity and letting myself have a bit of fun. Here's my capture page for that week. And these are all Aldi stickers again. Here's the next weekly layout. Same layout, slightly different patterns and a different color scheme, obviously. The little blue with the mermaid. And then this week I went with just a very basic time tasks here, and then obviously room for either notes or journaling or whatever at the bottom. These were done with just my cheap watercolors, the banners at the top. And I drew the banner with the fine liner first because the Sakura Micron is waterproof. And then I added the, sorry, Piper's, why don't you come around this side, baby? There's more room if you go to the other side. Might be easier. So she likes to watch the videos while I'm doing it. And yeah, there's some bits of like journaling paper here, and these were sort of journaling cards, and then once again the die cuts from Aldi. So there's that. There's a little cool tickety stub there that I don't know what I'm going to do with it, but there's that. And then there's the Sunday, and then there's the capture page with some cactuses. So I'm just really following the same basic idea, and then just sort of, you know, making changes as I see fit as I go. Do you want to put your hand in here and say hello?
Hello.
See, there she is. All right, let me turn the page now. So then once again, same weekly layout, different color schemes, slightly different design. I've got a very funny looking unicorn down there. And then this week, the layout I've chosen has got a time schedule down one side, tasks in the next, meals up the top here, and then this spot for journaling. I actually left a spot for journaling in this one. And then in here, and I'll also add in birthdays and stuff to my daily layouts as I go. I haven't done this through the planner yet, but that's something I'll need to do when I actually set it up to use it next year. So once again, that's washi tape. They're Aldi stickers.
And a car.
Yeah, there's a car, isn't there?
Brown, brown.
And then my capture page at the end. Okay, so there's that. So then the next week, once again, same layout, different color scheme, la la la, my little dragon down the bottom. And then I've got sections of page sort of like that. So there's time-sensitive tasks for the morning, time-sensitive tasks for the afternoon, and then meals, goals, and sort of household chores. So I've written goals, but it's like a to-do list basically. Piper, sit still, sweetie. We can't push Mummy's table, darling. So once again, a mixture of stickers, and that's their watercolors back there. So I've used the same color for the headings as I have for those there, and different color for every day. And I've tried to sort of coordinate it a little bit. And then that's the capture page at the end. You must sit quietly for me, darling. If you keep bumping the table when people are watching it, it'll be all wiggly. So here we are in March. Once again, fold out, and I haven't filled all of these monthlies out yet. I'll need to go back and do them, you know, once, you know, when you sit down to set up, you go through and you fill all that stuff out. So here's my goals for the month. Here's the weekly layout here for this week. That's scrapbooking paper that I just stuck down, and then just washi for the borders. Then this is watercolored with the, I think that might be a Rotring Tiki graphic liner over the top, and then just some stickers. And then here we go again. So obviously I've got a variety of different headings, and I'm just going to fill them out as I go with different things. So this one I left a big section for time sensitive tasks, and this one I split into morning and afternoon. There's a journal card there for some journaling. Unfortunately, because I used my cheap watercolors here, they rub off a little bit, but doesn't really bother me. And then one there as well. And then the capture page at the end. And then here we go again, another weekly layout. And these are Courtney's collage sheets. I think I've said before in one of my previous videos, but I'm a patron of hers, so that's her collage sheets there. And then a journal card, so I will have to work out how I go about how this works out, but I've got, you know, tasks, to-dos, journaling, however it decides to go. With those, there's one there and there and here. And I really enjoyed this sort of really random slap it down and get it done sort of style. I really liked that almost art journal-y method of doing things, and that's my capture page at the end of that week. Once again, another weekly layout, the green and red, and then here we've got the next week. So these are also Courtney's sheets, and then I think that's an Aldi sticker. And then I've got a journal card which I made like flipped over the to-do list. So obviously in a layout like this, it will be up, the challenge creatively will be for me to where I put my time sensitive tasks and how I sort that out. But that sort of thing I actually find really exciting, the fact that it's going to be a little bit different every time. I love this guy because it looks like he's like wrapped in a towel. He's like dropped his towel and it's like, woo, flash a to-do list. I know, that's just my personal amusement. And once again, these are all Courtney's. And then a mix of sort of just stickers around. Here's the next week. And then here I've got a really random sort of layouts. These are all a little bit different. I sort of ditched the theme at this point. So I've got a journal card here that's stuck down. That says yum, so I'm assuming I'm intending that to be the food. And then underneath, this one, the balloons I think is the places that I could write things, but this once again will be interesting because that page is fairly well covered over. So that was one of Courtney's collage elements, and I added the balloons myself. And then here, this is one of Courtney's. I saw this picture on Pinterest and I absolutely have to draw it because I love The Legend of Zelda, and I actually have this Navi saying, hey listen, as my message tone. And when I saw this little, I didn't write down who the original artist was, but I just had to recreate it for my daily layout. I just thought it was perfect. So then I've got here, I've got this, I made one of Courtney's elements into a, I got some grid cardstock and put that on the back. This is a little pocket with a pull-out tag on it and a little hero. And I love this quote. Write what disturbs you, what you fear, what you have not been willing to speak about. Be willing to be split open. As an author, that's something I think is really important. Have to be constantly challenging ourselves. Capture page. Next, weekly layout. And then here we have a little lady with a doily as a skirt. So they were Courtney's collage legs. I did the face, that's one of her eyes. And then I've added the rest around it. And then I added this sort of little journal card tip in because I've taken up a lot of this space. So I knew that I would need extra space there. And there's another, that's one of Courtney's there. And then here I did like a more of a box sort of layout, journal card in the middle. This is a pocket. So I've got, hang on, I've got this journal card here and that journal card there, which I'll use obviously for writing out, you know, whatever I've got to do today. And if I need anything else, then I can add those. So here I've got a piece of watercolor paper that I drew this lady on, and then stuck some cardstock elements over the top, and then I've just stamped underneath. This is one of Courtney's over a doily that I watercolored. And I'm excited about the challenges of all of these different things. This is really, so this was April the 1st. Now this is actually interesting because this particular calendar was done for 2017. So even though I'm using it for 2018, I'm using it only to mark the day. So it's going to be a Sunday, but if you just don't pay attention, I've just circled the date, which that doesn't bother me at all. And this was a Kiki K postcard that I just thought would be cute. I don't know how I'm going to do that. Capture page. And here we are in April. So that's my mum, everyone. Hi, mum. Monthly layout, not filled in. Goals as per usual. This is the weekly layout. Here I am using my Derwent Inktense pencils and sketched out some tulips. And I was really happy with how these layouts looked. I really loved doing these ones. And then here I've got the date on a swatch card, and the August 2017 Choose Your Own Adventure Challenge for Courtney's Patreon group was the watercolors, and they were the colors we had to use, and it had to include trees and something to do with the word serene. So I drew this lovely little deer, and then I had these quotes that I felt were relevant, and then all I did was I turned them into a daily spread. So the Monday's here and the Tuesday's there, and I will just write around that or tip in as I see fit. And then these are Courtney's elements here, and then I had some clear acetate stuff. That's one of Courtney's things that I turned into a journal card there. And then here's a Kiki K flipping, and this is a photo that I just kind of fussy cut. This is from my brother's wedding, so this is my sister-in-law, and that's Piper, and I just cut around them and slapped them on. And then this is my little goatee dragony thing, which I was really happy with. I had the basic pose from a different drawing, but I changed it to suit myself, so I was really happy with how he turned out. And he's done with my Inktense pencils as well. I really love my Inktense. And then capture page. And then this is the next weekly layout here with the daffodils, which I was also really happy with. It's interesting actually because yellow's not really my color, but I was really pleased with how that turned out. And then there's one of Courtney's elements, and like a Kiki K hot air balloon. There's a tag there. This one I just smacked in the middle of the page, so I'm assuming I will probably put my time tasks at the top and then like other stuff at the bottom. Then that one's sort of Aldi stickers and acetate. These ones are Courtney. And then here, this will be one of those challenging pages because I've covered most of it. But then I added this little tip in. So it's a little Kiki K envelope with photos of me and the kids on the back. And then inside I've got this journal card, says Friday's notes. I don't know if you can read that. And these are Courtney's stuff again. And it's just on the back of a grid. And this one says Saturday's notes. So the idea being that I can write and even add extra things to there because I've put these sort of in the middle of the page, and that doesn't bother me. Like I said, I just really wanted to just have fun with it. That was a mermaid. Oh, excuse me. Sorry everyone, it's hay fever season here and I am suffering. So yeah, there's the mermaid, and these are Courtney's bits in here. And there's another collage sheet stuff there. That's a photo of my family at my brother's wedding and for my capture page. So obviously if I want to do a lot of journaling here, I'll have to tip it in, which is fine. Here's the next weekly layout. I can't remember what that flower was called. I got the book, 20 Ways to Draw a Tulip. Can't remember who wrote it, sorry. And I've been sort of practicing my flower drawings based on what sketches and stuff I've seen in that, and I really liked the colors of this one too. I thought that was really pretty. And then here I am practicing more drawing here. So here is the Squirtle and here is the Charmander with their appropriate elemental sort of borders at the bottom. And this is also done with my Inktense pencils. Then this here has got a pocket, and then just to pull out it's like a pad, a to-do list pad. And I'll just fill it out with pretty much probably everything for that day because there's not a lot of room around it. And then here, this is another sort of journaling card I made of Courtney's. And then I had the bird sticker on the top, which I thought it matched because there's a bird in that card, and then this is an Aldi die cut, but this is Courtney sort of stuff around it. And then these ones are a little more open, but I'm obviously intending to add and change things up as I go through. So I found these, I found a box of ephemera that I'd forgotten that I had. So I suddenly went mad sticking down all these, like I got these cool clear acetate shapes and cutouts and bits and pieces that I stuck down. This page is probably my favorite of all of the weekly layouts in this month. And the funny thing is, it's a massive accident. What I actually did was, back here, oh my God, I can't even believe I did this, but I did Monday and Tuesday, and then I came back like a couple of weeks later, and I did Monday and Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday capture page. And I had all this stuff stuck down, and then I realized when I looked back that I'd done Monday and Tuesday twice. So I pulled all the elements off that I had stuck down and rearranged everything, but I had kind of torn up my pages. So I just grabbed these doilies, which had been tea dyed, and I glued them over the top, and I did my weekly layout, you know, pretended it never happened. And I was really worried that the doilies were going to interfere with the feeling of the weekly layout, but I honestly love this one so much. I love the vintagey feel, the cherry blossoms, the little bluebird. So this is a really good example of how something that you would classify as a mistake can turn out to be your favorite. So then over here, more dailies. These are getting a little on the simpler side because I knew I was getting towards the end of the book, and I started to get this drive to just finish it. So here is a photo of my brother, and then that's Orion and Piper, my two kids at the wedding, that I made into a journaling card for that day. So hi, Cam. And then here is a little journal card that I made and tucked into, I made that a little tucky pocket and poked that in there. And then my capture page, which that's stamped on. Then this is my monthly layout for May. This is how fat I was when I was pregnant with Orion. So there's that. There's my goals. And then this is the weekly layout here. I really liked how this one turned out as well. It's very open and very different to things that I would normally do. Then these are Courtney's here. This is all Courtney's stuff with some washi added. And then I thought these were really cute. They're Courtney's creatures, and I had this sort of half a doily, and she was like poking out. And I was really happy with how they thought they were quite cute. And then I followed the theme, and I had, this is also Courtney's growing out of a thing, and the number I thought was funny. And then I made this person out of a cactus. So I was really enjoying just, sometimes I don't want to draw, I just want to cut and paste. Sometimes I want to create my own thing and draw my own works of art, like on the weeklies. So it's nice to have a place where I can just be free and do creatively whatever I feel like. So once again, that was one of Courtney's little creatures, and I just drew a speech bubble. And then I stuck down, this was like the trimmed off extra bit of doily from the weekly layout that I stuck, the one that I made a mistake. And then this is the last week in this particular book. So this is the weekly layout, which I really loved this one. Now, I had some technical issues. I realized that I didn't have enough pages left in the book to do an entire week with one day, one day, one day, one day. So what I did was I split it up into 2 days on a page with that capture, and I have not decorated or prepped this on purpose because I'm not sure yet how I will do it. Whether I'm going to tip in like an extra like half page to-do list, or it's going to depend how I go when I get to it, because I've obviously jibbed myself of a lot of space, and I didn't want to go sticking down any massive elements or drawing big pictures because I wasn't sure how much room I would actually need. So I might add more to it when I come to this, or I might decide very simply to just bullet journal style for that last week. So that is the end of that. Here is the little pocket at the back of the Leuchtturm and the other elastics. And that's the end of it. So that is a flip through of the start of my planner for next year. So thanks very much for watching, and have a great day, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.